Are you a fair and honest person? Most of us like to answer yes to that question, including me. And I truly believe we think that we are fair and honest people. But most of us, when we're faced with evidence that proves the opposite to something we believe, our bias kicks in and we sort of reject what we're hearing. Let me show you what I mean. Are you willing for me to test my theory on you today? Let me challenge you. It's going to be hard. You have been fooled. But don't worry, you're not alone. The whole world has been fooled with you. And this is a play on words, I know, but evolution has made monkeys out of all of us. Uh-oh. Is that your bias starting to kick in? Have you heard something that you don't agree with and you probably want to check out now? Though, if you check off, then you're probably not the honest and fair person that you said you were. Listen, hear me out. Let me finish. Let me continue. In the last 15 or 20 years, evolution has taken a major hit. It's actually falling apart. And that's no exaggeration. Many evolution facts have been proven to be either erroneous, scientifically presumptuous, or out-and-out prefabrications, lies, if you will. I'll go over some of the most noteworthy falsehoods, but please check it out for yourself. Do some research. Don't trust me because I can pull the wool over your eyes just like anybody else has. Now, you know, if the scope trials were held today, evolution would be laughed out of court because there's just so many problems with it today. Already several states are kicking them to the curb. The curriculum that they used to teach on evolution, they're not doing it anymore. They're teaching creation theory. And that's because there are so many falsehoods with evolution theory. Let me go over some of them right now. Now, you've seen these charts where they have all this history of man, and they call some of them the human evolution, or the 7 stages of human evolution, or the longevity of humans, whatever they call them. They all allude to the same thing, a progression of mankind via evolution. You know, the Neanderthal, the Cro-Magnon, the Homo erectus, the Homo sapien, etc., and so on. For a long time, science told us this is the way it was. This is the truth. Believe us. But it's been shown now to be erroneous. Most of these so-called facts are untrue. And most of these prehistoric species that are on that chart, they never existed. In fact, they weren't prehistoric at all. Take Piltdown Man, for instance. Piltdown Man was discovered in 1912 in England. The discovery was outrageous. It was pivotal. Science declared it, man, look at this. It's great. We've learned more. It fit into all of their agenda and their bias. But just a few years later, in 1953, it was exposed as a forged fossil where someone had taken the skull of a human and the jawbone of a orangutan and put them together. A deliberately perpetrated fraud that was filed down, fit together, stained to make it look authentic, and sold to the public as being the truth. That was the mindset and the agenda of science at the time, and it still is for some evolutionist theorists. And they just did what was necessary to sell their bias. Even make up things that their claims would be accepted. Completely unethical, with far-reaching global negative impact because schools all over the world started teaching the children evolution theory. Next, the Nebraska Man, discovered in Nebraska in 1922. Built upon a single tooth, science assured us this was it. That was the link that they needed to show that evolution was real. Shortly after that, it was exposed to be the tooth of a pig. Then we have the Archaeoraptor Ruse. Now, this was terrible. In the 1990s, the Chinese evolution scientists claimed that they had found the missing link that put birds and reptiles together. They had found fossils that guaranteed us that this link was there. It turned out to be glued together parts of reptiles and birds from modern day Earth. The recklessness and the deceit of science was intentional, and it was just inexcusable. But deceit was not limited to these skeletal designs. In 1874, a scientist by the name of Ernst Haeckel pulled off another major deception in the evolution theory field. He produced drawings that showed the skeletons of embryos of humans, fish, reptiles, and birds all being almost identical to each other in the womb. To show how similar they were, he just deceived people and showed them these things. It was discovered they were deceptions. They were false. He manipulated all of the things. Just another chapter in the falsehood of evolution. Then we move on to the Vestigial Organ Myth. Oh, this was terrible. Many early evolution scientists claim that over 100 human organs were useless, that they were leftovers from evolution. The tonsils, the appendix, the pineal gland, some DNA strains, and some other organs in the body. But modern science has shown that every one of these organs has been necessary and serves specific functions, even the appendix. It's common knowledge, or it's commonly said, that the appendix is unnecessary. But science has proven that it was indeed necessary. It removes bile from certain systems. Anyway, we'll move on from that. There's much, much more. But I think I've made my point. And evolution was flawed, and it was forged, if you will, just a falsehood from the very start. And now it's largely proven to be untrue. But putting that aside, please let me ask you some other questions. Let me make some other points to you. How can anyone look around this world and not see the design to it? How can anyone feel the many functions that are going on in your body, the many systems that are at work, and not know that you were designed as well? In Proverbs, we're told, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Listen, don't be a fool. Consider real evidence, not the false evidence of evolution, but the proof of the world around us, the proof from the Bible, the Word of God. Here are some things that an honest person, a fair person, would consider when they determine whether they're going to believe evolution or creation. Are you fair? Then hear these out. Earth's rotation is perfectly timed to give life to best benefit from the sun and the moon. And the sun and the moon is in such sync with the earth. We are on an axis that puts us in perfect sync with the moon and with the sun. And because of that sync, we have heating and cooling that happens on the land and sea, that moves the air, that produces winds, that causes evaporation, that causes developing storms to come on the earth, and the process starts all over again. It dumps that water and it goes back out to the ocean and it starts all over. It is a system that looks like it was designed, not happened by chance. Our rotation around the sun from our apogee to our perigee creates seasons on the earth that are absolutely critical to life. Our ozone layer, it's in perfect position. If it was 100 feet either way, that it would just be devastating to life on Earth. We would all die off. There are more than 100 currents in the ocean that keep the ocean's waters moving and keeping them from being stagnant. If we didn't have those, if they weren't in relation to the moon and the sun, drawing from them the gravity of making them move, we would have a stagnant bog and there would be no life on Earth. And then think about our own bodies. The human body is a wonder. The miracle of sight and sound. Just that you're looking at this and listening to this, it's just a miracle. The eye, science has just wondered by it. They can't reproduce anything like the eye. It has over 2 million parts to it. Definitely created, definitely designed. And then look at the complicated network of vessels and veins and arteries in our body, the coordination of our brain to use electricity and chemicals in order to give us cognitive function, and the microscopic machines that science has detected that keep our DNA working properly and maintained. Look at how humans and animals need oxygen and they expel carbon dioxide that the plants need to exist. And then the plants in turn take that carbon dioxide and return oxygen back into the earth for us to survive. Science says the odds of all of these things happening by chance is 700 quintillion to 1. That is 700 followed by 20 zeros. You know, the odds of that happening are just like the odds of you winning the Powerball lottery 500 times in a row. Pretty amazing. It is truly an amazing design. And every design must have a designer. There are a million reasons to believe that we and the world were created by a designer, and virtually none to support or suggest that it's just happened by chance, through evolution, or through a big bang, or any other way. Today is the year 2026. What does that mean? Was it 2026 years ago that evolution started? No. Was it 2026 years ago that the Big Bang happened? No. It was 2026 years ago that God, the creator, the designer, took on human form and came to earth to reconcile us back to him. And he left us words, the Bible. And he tells us in the Bible that he created us, that he created the world, that he hung the stars in the sky, that he designed life as we know it. And that proof is all around us. The design proves that there is a designer. Look, when you see a house in the woods, you can't believe that that house evolved from the trees around it. No, it took builders. It took a designer. Just like this world, our life, took a designer to make us. It takes more faith to believe in evolution than it takes to believe in God and creation. Where do you stand? Will you be the honest person that you said you were at the beginning of this video? Or will you let your bias win out? I hope you'll just look at God and look at his creation and believe in him and nothing else. Thanks for stopping by.